We could see another 20, 30, 40 millimetres, which is going to be too much for this situation. Normally, our land could cope with it very well, but at the moment, it can't.
Travel has been seriously disrupted after Storm Henk battered a huge swathe of the UK, with hundreds of flood warnings still in place. More than 250 flood warnings are in place in England, while thousands of homes are without power. We're joined now by Claire Nasir to give us all the latest on what we can expect from the weather. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we've seen the back of Storm Henk for the most part, but we're now seeing the aftermath. I mean, how worried should we be about flood warnings in the next couple of days?
Well, this area is going to impact southern counties of England. It's the last of the wet weather for some time. It is drying up. However, this feature is quite small, but it's quite annoying because it's developed quite significantly overnight, and it's going to bring some significant rain to the south of England. Pushing in this morning across the West Country, moving across the M4 corridor towards the southeast, whilst then clearing East Anglia through the early hours of tomorrow morning. Now, the ground is very sensitive at the moment. We've seen copious amounts of rain. It's saturated. We've seen a lot of flooding, and some rivers are just at their limit, really, of coping with any more water. Some rivers have burst their banks already. So this is not going to help the situation at all. And the timing of this rain as it moves in will be through the afternoon and into early evening time when people are travelling as well. So the winds could pick up along the south coast, but really it's a rain feature and it's going to cause problems on the roads yet again.
And so are we also likely to see problems with the trains, things like power cuts? Should we all be expecting, mass disruption in that kind of way too?
I would say there will be some disruption, but it's not really about the winds, although the winds will be strong along the south coast. It's more about the rain, which is at the tipping point of a lot of the ground and the land that we live on and that we travel across, because the water table is so high now. We've seen such a wet autumn, a wet December, and this really won't help the situation at all. So a lot of catchments are very sensitive to any more rain, and we could see another 20, 30, 40 millimetres, which is going to be too much for this situation. Normally, our land could cope with it very well, but at the moment, it can't.
Meteorologist Claire Nasir, thank you for joining us this morning to give us the latest on those flood warnings.
It has been so wet and it's so miserable. What do you reckon? When will be the first hosepipe ban?
There'll definitely be one.
Yeah,
I was at home. I was in the Yorkshire Dales over the Christmas period. Every road is flooded. All the fields are flooded. The reservoirs are at their tops. And there will be a hosepipe ban still.
And that's what winds people up. These waters. One of them, pouring human excrement into our rivers is one thing, but also not being able to store all that massive amount of water that drops down seemingly continually from the sky. How we can have the autumns and winters and springs that we have, and then have a water
Have you got
shortage.
a water butt?
No.
Get a water butt, then you won't have to have a hosepipe ban.